Hi, welcome to Sage Blue Tarot. So, today we're going to do our collective reading. I'm going to start by using tarot cards and asking, what does collective need to hear today? What does collective need to hear today? We have the Six of Wands reversed, and behind it was hiding the King of Swords reversed. Okay, a lot of that fire, air energy. Right away, I'm feeling a lot of, we have the 10 Pentacles upright, a lot of almost resistance, kind of like an anxious resistance to something, or to someone, or maybe just a general like outlook, like a frustration or something. Kind of like an itch that you can't scratch, like you can't quite reach it, so it's bothering you, but maybe you're trying to move past it, like something's happening. Okay. I'm sensing like a disarray. A sense of, disarray is a good word for it. So let me cut the deck. Okay. And the first card I pulled after I cut the deck was the Wheel of Fortune reversed. Can we pull another card? And then the Nine of Cups upright. Okay. So right away I'm getting this sensation of kind of looking for a place to belong, that Six of Wands energy, where you've kind of maybe realized that a certain situation wasn't for you, and now you've kind of moved on, and now you're on your way, or you've already started something where you will be welcomed, where you will be recognized, where there will be like a sense of community that you've been kind of searching for, but haven't quite landed on. It's kind of like the image of a bee on a flower, but then it doesn't just stop there. Like it just keeps collecting pollen from other flowers, and it kind of keeps stops here, stops there, stops a little longer on this one, but then keeps going. And you're kind of like shopping around right now, I feel like, for this sense of belonging and something that you're joining. And we have the King of Swords reverse, and it was hidden perfectly behind the Six of Wands reverse. So I'm sensing that there's a lot of this airy energy that's been fueling this progression forward, this search forward, this wanting to claim something for yourself, right? And I feel like maybe you've been writing a lot, you've been kind of analyzing your dreams, analyzing kind of where you've been, maybe like a year ago, kind of seeing like, oh, how far have I come? Like, where are we right now? Okay, at this moment, it's springtime. This month, we're about to enter into the summer. So this is a period of transition, which I feel like has spurred this momentum within you, and it's also external, right? I'm kind of seeing that this momentum within you, this kind of like whirlwind of like air but fire, like ideas, energy, not knowing exactly like where, like where you're gonna land indefinitely, and it's not like, I don't want to say indefinitely, but for a time. I kind of feel like you're still kind of like shopping, looking, thinking, dwelling, and maybe some old anxieties are happening, right? Or maybe, I'm kind of seeing just like some old anxieties, kind of like, you know what, like I tried this before in the past years ago and it didn't work out, so why will it now? But I'm kind of sensing that if you open yourself up to what could be, while at the same time realizing that you don't quite know the full picture of who you're to become yet, right? And I feel like at this point you are getting a big dose of that. And I feel like you're kind of surprised by it because you're like, wait, who is this, right? And it's you, but you're evolving. And I feel like you right now at this point don't quite recognize yourself, but your self is being reflected outward, right? So as you're changing, you notice that maybe your externals are changing, but maybe it's a time to just kind of, if you haven't already, just reflect back on like, okay, so if my external's changing, how is that reflected within me? and that 10 of Pentacles upright. So I'm seeing that you're kind of maybe breaking free from traditions, from things that you've thought that you were committed to, or that you thought were going to be, I don't know, I keep seeing like lifelong, you know, like this indefiniteness, like wanting to be sure forever. And this could be in relationships, this could be relationships to your business, to your partners, to your friendships, to your community, to any classes, workshops, anything that you're taking. I feel like right now is kind of a point where you're really questioning, like, hey, what was my intention entering this? And am I getting that? Or have I already fulfilled it? Or am I even growing here? Do I need to move on? What do I need from this relationship to keep growing? And can this relationship give this to me? Right? So I'm kind of seeing like maybe you've reached a point where you kind of feel surprised at how finalized things might be feeling right now. Like you kind of feel like, wow, like I didn't think I'd get here this fast, but like, okay, here we are. So like now what? And we have the Wheel of Fortune reverse. So I love the Wheel of Fortune card because I feel like it's just change, you know, it's just like destiny, fate, change, like what's meant to be and like what is. And I kind of fence, fence, interesting. So maybe something to do with boundaries. But the Wheel of Fortune reverse to me right now is just kind of showing like you have spun the wheel and you weren't even sure of it at the time when you spun it. But now you're seeing the results, you're seeing the changes, you're seeing the shifts, right? And I'm kind of sensing that you also need to be letting go just as fast as the changes are happening. And I'm seeing that maybe there's been a situation or something that's just kind of been like a conflict of some sort, right? Something that brought you stress, something that you really think, you know what, like you messed up and that affected me, or I'm really stressed out about it. And I feel like you just keep replaying a certain scenario in your mind and you're not letting it go. And the Wheel of Fortune reverse is saying like, hey, like let it go. Things are going to keep changing. And I feel like it's just important to be grateful for what you have right now and what's arriving, right? Like be mindful that you're welcoming the changes, because I feel like you set these intentions a long time ago and now they're coming to fruition. And I feel like it's important to recognize that, right? To not, I feel like you need to remember your sight almost. Like you kind of need to just remember the seeds that you planted before. Now they're blossoming. So like, don't be surprised that it's blossoming. Like recognize the blossom, recognize the new stem, recognize the new piece of greenery, the new leaf, you know, and kind of zoom in closer, study it closer, kind of see like, oh, like what is this, right? Like what seed did I plant, right? I kind of feel like you planted the seeds and maybe you didn't label them or something. Like I'm kind of seeing like you just remember to stay curious about what's coming up, because in some way or the other, you planted this, right? With your intentions, with your goals, with your visions, connected to your higher self, like where you're going. So I'm kind of seeing that that's why a lot of what you've been doing is coming in under analysis, right? That King of Swords, air energy, just very analytical. Like you're kind of seeing like, you know what is this? So you're kind of laying your cards out on the table and being like, all right, what is this? What's going on? What's growing? Why is it growing? How is this connected to me? How is this affecting me? And also, how do I let it go fast enough? I kind of feel like you're just holding on to things too long. I'm kind of sensing like warm hands, like it's kind of like hot potato, you know, that game, hot potato, like let go of the hot potato. Like, you know, it's going to burn you, you know, it's been burning you. So like, just drop it as much as possible, as far as you can, just drop it so you can move on to the next thing, which is right now, like this present moment, what's happening right now. How do you feel? What do you want? What are your intentions at this moment? And we just had the new moon recently. So I feel like that's why right now it's like such a fertile ground to even plant more seeds, right? To acknowledge the seeds that are growing up, right? That are blossoming and kind of seeing like, oh, what's going on with that? But at the same time, realizing that there's still space, right? There's more space that has opened up in your life, spiritually, energetically, physically, just everywhere, right? There's a space there that now it's about stepping into it and accepting the invitations that feel right for you right now, right? I kind of feel like you're getting invitations in some way or the other by others or within yourself. You're kind of sensing this spark of, you know what, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that. Go for it, do it, study it, try it out. You know, you don't need to commit to things. I keep seeing like you want to commit to lifelong things, but right now is not that time. Just commit to right now. Commit to this week. Commit to maybe the rest of this month. But like I kind of feel like just scale back on this commitment thing. I kind of feel like maybe you've been really into commitments, right? Because you feel like commitments are a way to be secure. Commitments are a way to know yourself and to stay balanced. But the thing is, like, you're changing so much right now that all you can do is work with where you are right now and what you need right now, and stop comparing yourself in the present, today, right now, this moment, this minute. Stop comparing this person to who you were yesterday. Like, really, just you're changing so fast right now. And we have the Nine of Cups upright. So to me, this is just that wish card. Like, you're going to get everything you wanted, essentially. You know, just just let go. Just adapt to the right now. And at the same time, with that Nine of Cups, like, take some time to realize what you have and what has been granted. I'm seeing that you have been granted so many wishes, right? And maybe at the moment you were like, oh my gosh, awesome, thank you, universe. But I kind of feel like you're letting go of that too fast and you're holding on to the conflict too long, right? So I kind of sense that there needs to be a balance, like a shift in that way, because I sense like you've been given so much, right? Look back on these past few days. Like, what have you been granted that you were stressing about? And then all of a sudden you got a solution, an idea, someone came to help you out, you felt inspired and this motivated you, and you maybe changed your schedule, you added this, you removed that, you wrote something down, like you felt drawn to the song, you discovered new music, you ate really, just see what ways you've been gifted by this Wheel of Fortune, by these changes, right? Instead of dwelling, yeah, that's what I'm seeing, like that Wheel of Fortune, because it's reversed, you're only seeing that which didn't feel good. So you've been gifted things, right? You've been gifted ideas, events, you've been gifted energy. And some of it makes you feel good and some does not. And I feel like right now, you're focusing on what doesn't make you feel good, on what did not, right? Because I feel like in some way, that frequency, that vibration is more familiar to you than the positive side. So I feel like right now, you've been gifted, right? So what you need to do is work on maybe making new neural networks to make you comfortable with the energy that feels good, right? Because you're not comfortable with that. I feel like that's why you're letting it go so fast. So when things, let's say wishes get granted, right? You're like, okay, bet, awesome, okay, but something's gonna go wrong. No, like stay with that wish that has been granted, that present, that gift, stay with it. Maybe make a gratitude journal, maybe download an app, so something that will help you be mindful of the ways that you've been gifted today, right? This last hour, this morning, like how have you been gifted? And focus on that more. And I feel like the more you focus on that, the more with ease things are going to come to you, right? Because I feel like it's just been a lot of changes recently. And there's this, I kind of feel like there's kind of like this like guilty pleasure where you're like, yeah, but things could go wrong. Yeah, but this went wrong, or this almost went wrong. And what would have happened if it did go wrong? And I feel like you kind of play out these scenarios that didn't happen, but try not to do that. Try to not do that. I feel like that's really going to help you. I feel like you're not comfortable with being comfortable. I kind of sense that, right? Like just enjoy your life. Enjoy your life as much as possible. Yes, there's been conflict. Yes, people can be annoying, right? I'm sure we're annoying to other people, but just kind of sense that like things are always changing and all we can really do is focus on right now. Be grateful for right now, right? And I know it's like easier said than done. I understand that, but I feel like right now you're being supported in doing this, right? You've had this lifelong keeps coming up. You've had this lifelong habit of focusing on the bad energy or what could go wrong energy, which goes under bad energy, right? And I feel like right now you're being supported in changing yourself in this evolution of appreciation of the good energy, of the wishes that have been granted, of the things that have worked out, of the things that could have gone wrong but didn't, right? And there's so much more of that. So I kind of feel like we've been looking at life in this like half empty. We're like, oh, it's always half empty. You gotta be careful. But right now we're being supported and seeing like, no, see it as half full. The whole glass could be empty, right? And it's not. It has water. So that's awesome. And I feel like right now, that's what we're being supported in and also challenged, right? But because it's the Nine of Cups, it's that wish card. Your wishes have been granted, and just keep aligning and being grateful. And I feel like more wishes are going to be granted. So let me pull, yeah, I'm going to pull a couple more cards. Okay, so we have the Three of Pentacles upright, and which one is this one? Is this Temperance? I believe this is Temperance. Temperance reverse. I'll double check this one though. So we have the Three of Pentacles upright. To me, that's about community, right? And I feel like there's this temptation to check in with others first before you master yourself, right? So our whole life, we go through a relationship with ourselves the entire time, right? Yes, with others as well, of course, but our main relationship is always with ourselves. And I feel like there's maybe this temptation of wanting to make sure that this community that we're shopping around for, that Six of Wands reversed, just make sure that you're not trying to get them, whatever them is, to fill this this sense of mastery over yourself, this relationship with yourself, this void that you might be feeling like, oh, because I'm shopping around, I'm looking, to fit in, or I'm looking for something. I kind of feel like there's like this search going on. But just remember that Three of Pentacles. Remember that you are able to master whatever it is that you want to do. And you don't really need to check in with anybody else, right? Like, that's not the priority. Of course, we learn from others, but right now it's about, there's this importance being put on maintain the relationship with yourself right now throughout this whole changing thing, right? I feel like that's going to get stronger if you focus on yourself. And then in that way, you'll be able to share yourself with others in a healthy way. Like, oh, look what I've done. Look what I know, whenever you're prompted to, whenever the time comes, right? So I kind of feel like just remember that's the most important thing. Just this relationship with yourself. And let's see, where is... Okay, so I'm using the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. So it has these drawings on them and these Roman numerals, and I'm not quite sure what this particular card, which one, I think it's Temperance reversed. I'm pretty sure it is. My intuition says so. Yeah, and I'm right. So that's awesome. Okay, so let me just read it out because I have the book in my hand now. Temperance. Find a blend of the earthly and the spiritual within you. You are not bound to mundane matters unless you choose to be. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to just read that again. Find a blend of the earthly and the spiritual within you. You are not bound to mundane matters unless you choose to be. So I feel like there's this focus, right? Just stay balanced within yourself, your relationship with yourself, this spiritual realm, this kind of like search that you're doing, but just kind of stay grounded with your own powers, right? I feel like maintain your balance, find your balance. Because it's reversed, I'm seeing that, yeah, just with that Wheel of Fortune reverse, you're being gifted, but I feel like maybe right now you're focusing on the things that you shouldn't be focusing on, right? I kind of feel like things are sticking to you, and you have to take the time to unstick them from you in order to be balanced, in order to see the world as it really is. I kind of feel like right now you might be seeing the world in a skewed way where you're not appreciating everything that you have, right? Because I think it's because the changes feel so sudden that you're starting to feel kind of like, well, does that mean that I was doing things wrong before and that's why things need to end and that's why I need to start new things? Like, is that because I did something wrong? But no, it's because you're evolving. It's because you're aiming for something even better, that your present situation has to change, right? There's no way that you can have this future vision of you, this, higher self idea of what your life could be and can be, and right? So you can't have that while your life stays the same and while you don't change. So you didn't do anything wrong, right? I feel like that's maybe kind of what's causing this spiritual imbalance, right? And because the King of Swords came up reversed and it's a king, right? So I feel like it's just a really powerful card where it's like this masculine energy, right? That king energy. And because it's reversed, I'm kind of seeing that you've been kind of focusing too much maybe on the physical realm, right? I kind of see like maybe you you've grown so accustomed to a way that things are graded throughout your life. Like, this was great, this is an A plus, this is not so great, this is a C, or just there's a certain way that you've been grading life. And now the way that things are going, you're seeing yourself as a failure of some sort. And I kind of see, like, because you didn't commit to the benchmarks that your past self had committed to for like these lifelong things, and now you're kind of like, you know what, not so much in the lifelong thing, let's change that up. I kind of sense that maybe you're kind of seeing yourself as a failure. But yeah, I feel like a shift is going to happen for you, right? I feel like in hearing this episode, you're going to get this activation, or you're going to get this inspiration, like something's going to happen. Because I feel like sometimes we need to hear things from somebody else that isn't a part of our life, our immediate life, and who isn't us, to get that connection, that fire, that you... I feel like sometimes we just need somebody else's light to shine somewhere that we weren't even aware that we weren't shining on. Right? I'm kind of thinking of like a pilot light. Like, we're not even aware that this is happening. But then when we hear it, we think, oh, yeah, this aligns actually. Like, this is making sense. Like, I didn't even know that I was doing that, but I probably am. Like, that actually resonates. So I feel like you're going to be getting this activation of some sort to help you move into this space of realizing maybe you need to plant some seeds to appreciate the good energy more and the way that things have worked out, and finding your balance in that way. Okay, and on the back, it's the Chariot upright. So yeah, transformations in your journey, right? I kind of sense that. I'm kind of getting this like vision of you just kind of loaded up with your backpack or your suitcase or your car. Just you're going to be going on this journey, or you already are, right? And you kind of sense like your surroundings are changing so much, and you don't, like when you're moving house, like you don't quite know if it's going to be a good fit, but you're riding on faith almost, right? And I feel like that's right now what's going to strengthen you, is maybe this cultivation of faith. Maybe meditate with that word, maybe read into it, like look it up, kind of see if that's even a part of your vocabulary, right? Like the faith that we have in ourselves and the universe as we go through these transformations and these transitions, right? The Chariot is about moving somewhere. So this could be, you're literally moving, right? And that's why all these things feel like they're changing. But I also sense like it could just be spiritual, but it's also connected to the physical, because I just keep seeing like you're evolving. I feel like it's such a surprising rate for yourself right now that's why you're kind of like in shock, and you're like, what? Things are working out? This never happens. Like, what do you mean? Like, what, is there a catch? But there's no catch. You just have to hold on to the inner strength and what you've been cultivating so far. I kind of feel like just give yourself some credit. You've been doing the work, right? So like, why wouldn't there be evidence of it? Why wouldn't things be changing in your favor right now? You are growing. Okay, great. That's going to be it for the tarot portion. Let me see. Do I feel called to do an oracle card? Yeah, I'm going to do one undularium card. So I'm going to thank the tarot deck. Thank you. And now I'm going to pull from the Undularium Oracle of Emanations deck. What does collective need to hear today? So I'm getting the message to breathe. Breathe in deeply down to your abdomen. Fill up your belly with all that air, and then release slowly. Maybe do like a Yeah, it doesn't need to be like a whole guided meditation moment, but just take some time to breathe. So we have Bina, left eye knowledge upright. Interesting. When I was, what is the word? Shuffling. I was like, when I was scrolling the tarot, when I was shuffling the tarot deck, my left eye was twitching. And I remember thinking, like, that's odd. Like, should I even mention that? Like, okay, I guess we'll see what the cards have to say, right? I'm not sure what it quite means yet, but left eye Bina. It's interesting because it was my left eye that was twitching. Bina, left eye knowledge. There's this image of this being with their hands behind their back, but then pulled forward through their body center. And then there's like a pearl that they're holding up in front of them while they're looking up to the skies. So let me go ahead and read what Bina has to say. Bina, left eye knowledge, the third emanation, a flow of light that pours into the world, a candle whose flame may light another without diminishing its own. Bina seeks not only creation but purpose. She is a flare of pure intent that blossoms from the heart of existence and out into the world. Her energy brings with it a desire for knowledge. She is the force that churns all the potential from higher emanations into a form that can be received by our consciousness. The white orb illuminates the way forward. Bina sits atop the pillar of severity, heading the feminine aspect of the diagram, creating a perfect balance with Chokma at her side. Together they represent a continuum of psychic understanding. While Bina represents the power of knowing, Chokma reveals the power of not knowing. One acts as a vessel as the other fills that vessel, giving it a purpose, found in learning, shared experience, creation. I like that it mentions that Bina is on the feminine aspect of the Tree of Life diagram, because that King of Swords energy I mentioned was very masculine, and it kind of felt like it was trying to tick off the boxes of the checklist that they've made some time ago, and and the boxes are changing now, so how can they possibly check them off? And I feel like there is strength right now in sitting in this feminine power, which I feel like is less concrete, essentially, more of the psychic realm, more in your intuition, right? Kind of trusting, like, okay, what do you know? What feels right? What aligns, right? Right now, there's such a pull from that masculine side. I feel like there is going to be, like, the antidote for that is to respond with the feminine side, right? Like, what feels right for you, even if you can't quite exactly pinpoint why on pen to paper, right? Like, kind of realize that there's like this mystery that's unfolding for you, but you're an active participant, right? And I feel like even by just observing what's happening, you can get answers, or you can realize that what the answer, I feel like you have the answers, but you just need to sit with yourself, right? Meditate, write, study your awareness, notice what you notice, right? Like, see what you're seeing or how that's affecting you, and maybe like what's happening with your relationship to that which is your point of focus, right? And I like that it mentions the candle, right? That flame, and how you can light somebody else without diminishing your own. Like, you don't have to pretty much lower your reserves of energy or your light in order to make somebody else feel better, right? That Three of Pentacles card had come up, and you've nurtured so much of yourself, and there is going to be power in maintaining and prioritizing that relationship with yourself, and then you can help others, right? And I feel like it's going to happen in surprising ways that you don't have to actively be seeking out, like, who can I help? How can I help you? You tell me and I will see if it's not going to be like that. I feel like that's a very masculine kind of push. It's going to be more of you're going to be drawing people towards you. You're going to have these, in quotes, coincidences that are going to happen. And then all of a sudden you're going to give somebody an idea. You're going to inspire them. Even by people noticing you, I feel like there's going to be power in you inspiring them without you being aware of it, right? So found in learning, shared experience, creation. I feel like right now you're going to be really drawn to joining a class of some sort, like a workshop of some sort, something you've been wanting to do. And this could be in person, this could be online, this could be individual work. I feel like they're just going to be, learning. Like you're going to be feeling this hunger to learn, because as you're evolving, you're realizing like what you've been doing is not aligned to who you are right now. So now I feel like your antennas are up, right? You're kind of like, oh, like what do I need? But I feel you're going to be naturally led to it. Like it's not going to be this aggressive like search, it's going to be just a gradual understanding where you're going to realize, oh, this is a good fit to where I am right now. Great, right? It won't be as difficult and as challenging as it might have been feeling, or maybe currently still is. I feel like just kind of put the brakes on the masculine as much as you can a little bit to kind of temper that, and then allow for the feminine to flow through, and then kind of see how to rebalance yourself, how to kind of, remember who you are, right? Remember who you are and get to know who you are right now without comparing yourself to your past self. Yeah. So that is going to be it for today's reading. Oh my goodness. So on the back of this deck, we have Chokma, Right Eye Wisdom. And Chokma was actually mentioned in the reading that I just did, right? So, and I love that it's reversed. Okay, I'm going to read Chokma. Chokma, Right Eye Wisdom. Wow, I don't think I even read the title for, okay. Chokma, Right Eye Wisdom, the second emanation. A vessel to hold that which is most precious. The first gate out of potentiality and a step into the realm of the known. Chokma is the first moment a newborn opens its eyes. That child's first steps and first word. He is the beginning of a lifelong journey whose path disappears over the horizon. Where Keter is the pen that hovers over the page, Chokma is the moment of contact. From nothingness, wisdom is formed. To have insight into that which is not known is a gift that is not bestowed lightly. A gray orb breaks the surface of our consciousness. Descending from the summit of the tree, we see its duality begin to form. Chokma sits atop the pillar of mercy, forming the first masculine aspect of the diagram. Its partner Bina opens next to reveal the two eyes through which we see the world, found in birth, intuition, the subconscious. Wow. I love that I pulled both the left eye and the right eye. Because Chokma is reversed, I'm seeing that there's been this kind of, it's just, it's been what I'm saying, right? This imbalance with the masculine side, right? This wanting, I feel like new information is being poured in, but the vessel that we've had no longer can accommodate all the information that we are. And maybe that's why it's uncomfortable right now, because we don't have the vessel. Right? We don't have that vessel balanced right now. So I feel like that's kind of what we're working on, is kind of how can we receive ourselves, this evolved version of ourselves. Where can we now receive ourselves, right? I feel like that vessel is still taking shape. It's going to be gifted to you. You are creating it, right? With the decisions, with the things that are happening, it's happening for you. And I feel like lean into the intuition, lean into the subconscious, into the new beginnings that you're doing, into the seeds that you planted that are now growing. I feel like there's a lot of information. There's a lot of information in this episode. And the card next to those, Ishara TL, Angel of Silence. So I feel like breathing and meditation is really going to help you. Like if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed by all the information that I gave you in this episode, I feel like maybe after this episode, just take 30 seconds to breathe in deeply, 4 seconds, and then exhale 6 seconds, and then do that for 30 seconds to kind of allow for the information to sift through and land and settle, right? I kind of feel like I just kind of gave you a lot of information, a lot of activation, a lot of ding, 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 ding. And right now is a good time to just kind of sit with it, right? Maybe replay it to kind of see like what stuck out to you or what you kind of need to understand a little bit more if you feel called to, and then just like sit with it a little bit, right? Like allow things to settle. I'm kind of seeing this vision of water that's beginning to settle, right? Like the dirt at the bottom or the mud has just been kind of like moved. And maybe the messages are going to be clear for you if you give yourself time to watch that water become clear again, to see the mud settle. It's going to take some time to get the clarity. Yeah, I kind of feel like your subconscious already knows all this information, but it's going to take some time for your logic mind, right? That masculine side. I just keep seeing masculine energy coming up, wanting to control things. But if you allow for that water to settle, things will become clearer for you. And you'll understand the messages and what you can do about them, like what you need to do next. So, yes, thank you for showing up today and being a part of today's episode. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hi, so now we're going to go ahead and move into the distance Reiki portion of the episode. I suggest laying or sitting in a comfortable position, but that is not necessary. Just be open to receiving Reiki healing energy. I suggest setting your own intention for the Reiki or just allowing my intention to take place, which is always for your highest good. I'm going to go ahead and take 3 deep breaths with you. Let's go ahead and inhale, hold, and exhale. Again, inhale, hold, and exhale. And inhale, hold, and exhale. I will now begin sending Reiki. When you are ready, start to come back into your body and open your eyes. Welcome back. Thank you so much for showing up today. And I suggest drinking water since a lot of energy is moved during Reiki sessions. And I will see you in our next episode. Thank you and bye.